this is Rachel back for another Tuesday Tech Tip. Today I am talking about Jamboard. Jamboard is a feature that's been with Google apps for a while, but is something that is becoming more popular now because it's integrating now with Google Meet. So people using the Google Meet video calls have access to Jamboards. So this is a Jamboard, and a Jamboard is a collaborative workspace or whiteboard that you can use with other people. You can do this on a Google Meet, but you can do this at any point. So it's not specific just to Google Meet. So to orient you to Jamboard, to get there, you're going to go to jamboard.google.com, and it will open up your Jamboard main page with all of the jams you've created. In the lower right corner, you are going to be able to see that there will be a plus sign, and that plus sign will allow you to add a new jam. So in your new jam, you can give it a title. And the biggest thing, if you take nothing else away from this, the biggest thing to know about Jamboard is that you want to always make sure that you are sharing the Jamboard with the people you want to share it with. So if you come over here to the blue share button and you click there, you are going to want to make sure that the people who have access to this, you change it from being restricted to anyone with the link can either view it or can edit it. If you want other people to work on that collaborative space with you, then you definitely want to make sure they're editors. Otherwise, they'll be able to see it but not touch it, and that can be frustrating. So just go ahead and click done. So what you've got here is a blank background. You have a pen, an eraser, a pointer, sticky notes you can add. You can add pictures. You can add shapes. You can add text boxes, and now there's lasers. So some of these are a little bit newer features. They didn't used to be there. You also can add backgrounds. So if you wanted to choose any of these 6 background choices, you can, to give it a nice clean background. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas of how you might use Jamboard in your next Google Meet to get things going or to add a little spice to your meeting. So the first idea is called Say Something. And so Say Something works like this. So with Say Something, what you do is you put a prompt on the page. So say something about what stood out to you about the Daniel Pink video on motivation. And then you stop the call and you ask everybody to say something about it. And they all take a Post-it note. They'll click on the Post-it note. They'll say, I thought it was amazing. They save it. They can change the color of their Post-it note if you want. And then they can move their Post-it note around, make it bigger, make it smaller. And then they say something. So if you're watching a video or you're reading a text or you're in the middle of a discussion, you can just pause it and then you say, okay, I want you to say something, and everybody goes in and says something. And then you come back to the text or the video, and it gives people a chance to share that might not otherwise be included in that conversation. So that's number 1. Number 2, you could do a chalk talk. So chalk talk in a classroom looks like having a bunch of chart papers around the room, and at the top of every chart paper is a question, and that question is related to whatever the content is that you're covering that day. And so this can work, though, in any situation in business or an education world. So you would put some sort of topic at the top of each of these Jamboards. So you'll see I have the 4 components of engaging students in remote learning here. So like the first one is do no harm. And then what happens is you give people a time limit, so 5 minutes, and they go through and they respond to these prompts. And then if somebody says something that they agree with, they add their Post-it, and then they might add a Post-it on top of the Post-it that they wanted to have a conversation with that person. So they're having a virtual silent conversation using these Post-it notes. So if, for example, under this assessing using different modalities prompt, somebody said, I'm looking forward to using Nearpod, and I agreed, I could come over here to my sticky note and say, yes, that's a great tool, and add that. You just click out of the sticky note to get out of there. And then add that and make sure it's connected to this one. And now we start building this conversation, this rich conversation about these different prompts. So in any situation, it's a great way, again, to give voice and choice to the people within a session who may not only want to talk. Number 3, one of my favorite check-ins that I ask people to do is to check in with how they're feeling using a GIF or a GIF, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And so then people will download, they can either on their phone go to the Jamboard, get the link on that Jamboard, and just phones make it really easy to get the GIFs. But if you are not sure how to get GIFs, check out my video from last week. It goes into how you can create your own GIFs or find the link to a GIF. And then to upload it, you're going to come over here to this picture, add image over here, and you would just find that GIF on your computer, or you would find it in your photos and upload it, because GIFs are considered picture files. So they're considered, they operate and they work just like pictures. So anywhere you can put a picture, you can put a GIF. All right. And number 4, you can do a this or a that activity. So which do you like better, pizzas or tacos? And then everybody will put their little Post-it note, they'll put their name, and then they will decide which one do they like better. I definitely like tacos better, so I would put my Post-it note over here. That's a fun way to get people's check-in, just get the juices flowing for the beginning of a meeting. And then my favorite, number 5, my favorite check-in for Corona times is this 6 to 8 word memoir that you can do. So I have asked people to write their 6 to 8 word 2020 memoir, and they put their name and then they put their memoir. So mine is, I put my name, Rachel, and in 2020, I found out I'm an introvert. So it's a really nice way to get to know people pretty quickly. So those are a couple ideas of how you can use a Jamboard. Keep in mind that Jamboard is a great tool regardless of whether you're using Google Meet or you're using Zoom or you're not online at all. It can be a great way to collaborate with your colleagues and your friends. And it is a free app built into the G Suite portal. So if you have any questions about that or you have other things you'd like to learn about in future weeks, let me know, and I will see you back next week.